Hey guys, welcome back to my new video. This one is going to be about OSINT. So if you're not sure, OSINT is essentially open source intelligence. So anything that's available to the public, any files, websites, or anything like that, this is where you would collect with OSINT. And it is one of the first steps for any long-term reconnaissance or any pen testing or anything like that. So one of the first tools that I wanted to show you is the harvester. So the command for that, it should be pre-installed, is going to be the harvester with capital H -D, and then you can put any website into it. One that I can show you is going to be activistsite.org, and then -B all. One thing that you have to know about the harvester is that you can actually put in more capabilities to it. So if you edit this file, the API keys.yaml file, you can put API keys that will allow it to search more thoroughly into all these different domains. So one of them is like GitHub. If you get a GitHub API, you can search more thoroughly into GitHub repos. And essentially, you can just edit this file and then add your API keys after getting them from the internet. So this actually helps the tool be a lot more useful, but even without the tool, you can still search a lot of different things just using this just out of the box. This will run through. You can essentially just wait for it to go through, and it'll provide you with a bunch of different resources about what it has harvested, and it'll appear in the terminal. So that's one way of doing that. So here is a bunch of different information, a bunch of different websites that you can visit about OSINT. These are all public facing sites. And essentially, if you use this on a real targeted site, you can find a lot of domains that you might not be able to know about explicitly from just like Google or something. This is another command that you can use. So the harvester -D, and then type in your link, and then you can point it to specific instances where it's going to try and look. So for this one, it would be Bing, Hacker Target, and then these two other sites. And this would essentially allow for you to do targeted OSINT. So instead of just doing all like I did in the first command, this one will allow you to search specific instances. So we can run that. Basically going to be doing the same thing, but instead of scanning all of them like we did originally, it's just going to scan these few that you list here. So that's how to use the harvester. It's a pretty good tool if you do get around to using it. It is pretty useful for OSINT if you're going to be looking into like a specific device or domain, anything like that. The harvester is a very good tool to get familiar with. Another one that we can focus on, let's clear this, is going to be Recon NG. This one also should be pre-installed with the Kali Linux distro, and this essentially allows you to do a lot of different things against targets. So you can just put that in, and then marketplace install all. It's essentially going to import a lot of different things from the Recon NG site. These are also just more API keys that you can add to this to make this tool even better. So the next command will be modules load recon/domain/hacker target. And then we can set our actual source. So options set source in all caps, and then you would put the website name and then run. So essentially what this will do is you set up the project, you load all the modules from Recon NG, you set the source as the target that you're looking to find information about, and then click run. So this gives you a ton of information about the site. Hack the Site is just a tool to use OSINT tools against. So completely good information we're seeing here. This gives you a lot of information on the IP address. In other instances, you could get latitude, longitude, and regions about different sites. So Recon NG, if you set it up exactly like I just did, you can find a lot of different information, a bunch of different IPs about a site, and this can help lead you into better tools like an Nmap or DNS lookup. This is essentially the first step to finding out information. And then if you note all this stuff down, you can start building a collection of information against a specific target. Let's clear that. Oh, I have to get out of there first. Exit. Here. Okay. So far we've covered the Harvester and Recon NG. Two of these tools are probably the biggest for targeted website OSINT. And next, we can go to Spiderfoot. Again, if you have the Kali distro installed from Zsecurity, it's already installed. And the way we can run it is Spiderfoot space -L space 127.0.0.1 on port 5001. Essentially, what this can do is start up a web browser that we can actually visit through Firefox. So get this, copy, paste. So as you can see, it opened up a Spiderfoot directory in our browser. We can go to new scan, and then you can name the scan like test1, and then scan target. So this is sort of a similar thing to where we can scan a specific domain, or we can scan like this site.org. We can scan a specific thing. This is going to be similar information than we got from the first one, but you never know what you could get. It's always worth trying all your sources before you move on. So it's going to run it here. We can put this in full screen. And essentially it shows you percentage of unique elements. So it allows you to see more information onto the site that you're targeting. Correlations, scan is still running. So you'll see this table fill out, and then eventually you will be able to see correlations. This can provide you some information, like knowing specific instances that are more likely than others. So like linked URLs could potentially be an exploit path that you could maybe take if needed, depending on your source. Affiliate internet names. Based on this, you can see what routes you could take better than a normal scan. So once this is done, as you can see, it's going through a lot of different information. Some of them do get errors. Depending on your site, you might not always hit each one, but most of the time it will still conclude. Just trying a bunch of different stuff, looking up a bunch of different repositories that involve hackthisite.org. As you can see, this also, the graph gives a lot of information. So any links to different sites or IPs, you can also see here. So this is another good way to figure out information that your site is providing. So like this could give you an IP, could give you a location of where this website's being hosted from, any sites that are related to it. So hackthisite.org, of course. But then there's also this one, which you might not know about, like f.ns.buddyns. I'm not even entirely sure what that is, but doing more information, you could even do a scan on this second site and then see how it links back to hack the site. A lot of different information can be provided from a single spider foot scan. While we're waiting for that, we can go over this other site that I wanted to show you. So the link for this is https://start.me/p/L1REYQ/OSINT for all. This is a website that I actually found a few weeks ago, and it is extremely packed with a bunch of different OSINT tools. So depending on what you're looking for, this website basically has everything, like unified search. Some of these are just kind of like, you already kind of know about them, like Google Maps, Bing Maps, a lot of the stuff, but a lot of this stuff has a lot of different use cases that you could figure out. So a bunch of different search engines, many of these you probably didn't know about. People, you can find like specific people. I know that I've looked myself up on the family tree, and even like a group of my friends has done it, and we all appeared on this site without even knowing about it. So this is super useful. You can find usernames, people, do like background checks almost, and just get a ton of information about a specific target that you're looking into. This one has just a whole section for phones. So reverse phone number lookup, true caller. You can find out like who called you and what the name is linked to their phone number. Social media, we'll go over that in a second. Tool sets, also very useful. CyberChef especially. If you're looking into like data types, CyberChef is extremely useful. Hash recovery. If you have extra time, go through this site after the video's done, and you can just kind of mess around with a lot of these things. But it essentially has a conglomerate of just hundreds, if not like thousands, of different tools that you can use to better your OSINT and find out information about people. We can go back here. Scan is still running, so I will come back to you guys when the scan is complete. While we're waiting for that, we can actually go show you another tool, which is going to be Sherlock. So the first command you want to put is git clone, and then the sherlock.git link. That will create a directory where you can cd into it. And then next, we want to set up the dependencies. So I do it in a virtual environment, so you would run this command, python 3-m venv, and then activate it. So source venv bin activate, and that will get you this little virtual environment tag on your terminal. Next, we want to make sure the pip is working. So python 3 pip install upgrade pip should go through. Then you want to install the dependencies with python 3-m pip install space dot. Sherlock has their dependencies in the dot directory, and then you should be able to run the full command. Test1, and it should go through. Essentially, what this tool does is scans any public usernames. So anytime there is a like username of test or username 123, it will go through. Okay, so like for this, we can see username 123 has all of these different links. Some of these are kind of broken in my experience, but you can essentially see people's usernames on certain sites. So whoever's username 123, you can see all of these different links. So if you're, oh wow, if you're investigating someone that has like a public username and they've used that username on multiple platforms, you can check what platforms are actually on using the Sherlock tool. So this can essentially help you better understand what programs are using to potentially find exploits. This can also lead into my next video, which is going to be phishing. So knowing that like username 123 is on GitHub, we can actually phish them for like a GitHub link, and that can actually go a long way if it's a targeted phishing rather than just a general one, because you can know that they might have a Goodreads account but you can send them an email that they are more likely to click on because they actually have an account associated with that platform. So Sherlock is a really cool tool. As you can see here, sometimes it doesn't always work. If there could be an error, but most of the time, if you type in a real username that has actual hits, it will go through and work. Thank you guys for watching. This is just part one. I will come back with part two in a bit, and I will have all these tools on screen able to be viewed either from part one or part two. Thanks.